Welcome to the listening room, Midpoint Ambush. From Song of the Pack, the gala glittered with chandeliers and polished marble, the kind of event Eliana usually endured with her camera rather than enjoyed. Tonight, she wasn't just a photographer. She was a reluctant spy, eyes cataloging every donor name, every suspicious transaction pattern echoing her spreadsheets. Isabella stood near the student performer's table, still glowing from her solo. Naomi and Deborah flanked her, Priscilla, buzzing around with compliments and plates of hors d'oeuvres. Eliana tried to soak in the normalcy of it, the way her daughter laughed, the way her sisters teased, but she couldn't ignore the tension threading through the room. Suits whispered too long near the check-in desk. Hands exchanged envelopes under cover of applause. And always at the edge of her sight, Asher, leaning against a column like a sentry in a tux, storm eyes scanning every shadow. Her phone buzzed. A flag deposit hit her system. Charity, Moonlight Hope Foundation. Timestamp, 8-way-42. She glanced at the check-in sheet. Donor, D. Morrow. Her blood froze. Marcus. Before she could process, the lights flickered, a ripple of unease, and then the crash of glass at the far side of the hall. Three men slipped in through the service door, hoods low, movements too precise for ordinary thieves. Their presence shifted the air. Rogues. Screams rose. Chairs toppled. Asher. Eliana's whisper was swallowed by the roar of panic, but he was already moving, crossing the floor with impossible speed, intercepting the first rogue before his blade could flash. Isabella's eyes went wide, fear shattering her stage-born confidence. Deborah shoved her down behind a table. Naomi pulled her close. Priscilla, voice trembling but fierce, began humming a hymn under her breath, steadying, anchoring. Ileana's instincts snapped between mother and analyst. She ducked low, yanked her camera strap off, and crawled toward the donor table. The ledger, the paper trail. If Marcus's name was on it, she needed proof. Another crash. A rogue slammed into a pillar, growling, before Asher's hand snapped his wrist back with bone-deep authority. The other two circled, silver coins flashing between their fingers like calling cards. One of them turned toward the student tables. No, Eliana breathed, legs moving before thought. She launched herself across the floor, grabbing the rogue's sleeve, yanking hard. He snarled, eyes glowing, and shoved her back. Mom! Isabella's cry cut like a knife. The rogue's blade lifted, aimed not at Eliana, but at the daughter behind her. Asher blurred. One heartbeat, he was across the room. The next, he was between them, body twisting, steel catching his side. The sound was sickening, metal meeting flesh, but he didn't falter. He shoved the rogue back with a growl that shook the crystal chandeliers. Eliana's world narrowed to the red spreading across his shirt. Asher, I'm fine. He ground out, though his breath hitched. His eyes never left the rogues. Security finally surged, clueless humans who thought they were breaking up a drunken brawl. The rogues slipped into the chaos, coins scattering like breadcrumbs, disappearing as fast as they'd come. The room rang with panic and confusion. Eliana dropped to her knees beside Asher. Blood slicked her hands as she pressed them to his side. You're not fine. He caught her wrist, grip warm despite the wound, his gaze locked on hers, silver fading to something human, something raw. Now you know what it means to stand in the circle. Her throat burned. She wanted to tell him he was a fool. That bleeding for them was madness that she hadn't asked. But when Isabella's trembling hand touched her shoulder, when her sisters closed ranks around them, Eliana realized the truth she hadn't asked. But she wasn't walking away. You've just heard one chapter from the first Twin Cities Pack trilogy. Begin the journey with Song of the Pack, then continue through the rest.